Croeso pawb, welcome everyone. So this video is all about what I've been up to in the garden, in the herb garden, the veg garden, between roughly the middle of February to kind of middle of March. And the idea of these videos is that you can follow and you can see what I've been up to and hopefully inspire you in your garden. So I'm in the polytunnel. So what's been going on in here? Well, we've given the polytunnel a big clean. So how did we do that? Well, we tied a load of onion nets together. I got some onion nets from my local organic farm shop and we tied them together. We wrapped the hose around it and we had it the whole width of the polytunnel and we launched it up. That was the hardest bit. And then we literally went back and forth. There was 3 of us. I had my 2 apprentices outside and I was inside directing. They loved being outside and I loved directing, so it worked really well. And I would definitely recommend that because here all our water is gravity fed. There's not much pressure. So we had to really come up with a genius way and it took some time, but that worked. There was just a dribble of water, but it was enough. It's not perfect, but you will not believe the difference it made. There's so much more light coming in here. And when I see people saying in bad summers they struggle to harvest things like peppers and chilies and tomatoes, I wonder how much of that is because the polytunnel is dirty. So what else? Well, here I'm stood in front of my broad bean bed. It wasn't the last time I spoke to you guys. In fact, there's a few broad beans you might be able to notice in the middle, and they have got flowers on, and they're the only ones that actually survived the winter in here because everything just got so much damp, it just went to mildew. So what have I done here? I've put some of my homemade compost on the top to build the bed up, and I've simply planted them. I tend to plant them quite close together so they can kind of bounce off each other. I use the same theory as up in my spruce woodlands. I see those and crazy, 60 odd mile per hour, even 70 mile per hour winds, and they keep each other up by just bouncing off each other. And I'm kind of hoping the same thing happens in here. So I've planted them a bit closer together. Probably will need to put some sticks in at some point, but I'm hoping they can work as a community. So what else have I been up to? Well, other things is I've been up to sowing. So I'm going to quickly run through what I've got here, what's germinated. So just again to inspire you in your own garden. So I've got beetroots, leeks, some onions. These are the kale that I rescued from a home compost up in the other beds which I've shown you. So that was freebie plants really. More kale, and then I've got some different varieties of kale here. Tree cabbage, Siberian kale, Cavallonero, Brussels sprouts, calendula. What else has come through? The Malva sylvestris, goldenrod, lemon balm, angelica, lungwort, cowslip, garlic mustard, mullens come through, traveller's joy, soup peas, meadowsweet, lady's bedstraw, motherwort, coltsfoot, radish, more beetroot, and then up here I've got some valerian, garlic mustard, borage and milk thistle. So on this side of the tunnel there's more of the same thing going on, but I've got my cloches here, so this keeps it extra warm. And even though they're getting a bit old now, so the zips don't work, on cold nights I can put the fleece over and it just keeps it frost free. So in here I've got more onions, I've got celery, I've got some tomatoes, I've got some chilies, I've got watermelon, I've got electric daisy, lemongrass. The moringa hasn't come through yet. I've got some astragalus there, but the ones over there have come through earlier. Got coriander come through, dill's come through, still waiting for the parsley. Then I've got my California poppy, my field poppy, flax, magenta spreen, chard. What else has come through? There's loads in here, so I'm just saying what's come through. Wild fennel, henbane, feverfew, purslane, salads, and then things such as what else has come through? My teasel, my daisy, catnip. So lots of things coming through, which is really exciting. And I love this time of year when all the mustards and the mizunas and the winter salad are starting to go to flower in the polytunnel. Smells absolutely amazing, but what's even better is coming here and seeing the early bees having food to forage, the hoverflies, and just the galore of insects. In the last video I was here planting lots of stuff, and you can see in this video lots of it was germinated and some of it has even gone out. So there's echinacea come through here and my sweet peas. Now nothing much has happened to my slippery elms so far, but I'm kind of taking that as a little message to stick to the native witch elm. So outside we've been mainly wood chipping. This time of year I always find it's kind of like hardest time of the year because you're preparing all the structures and the infrastructure for growing the whole year. So we've had a couple of trees taken out down by on our border down the front. We had to get a couple of ash trees taken out because of dieback, and a willow tree that had been damaged in the wind. And because it's down on the road, we had to take them down really carefully, but the great thing was we ended up with a lot of wood. So all the brush we piled up and we wood chipped it. But the problem was it's all the way down there. So even though it doesn't look like much of a slope, I can tell you, after many wheelbarrows of wood chip, it's quite a slope, but we've got it done. All the veg beds are now done, which is absolutely amazing. And we've been wood chipping this for many years. So it's now much easier to weed, much easier. But the plan is to have more trees, so we planted even more trees close to the veg garden, because when we use the willow, which is just there behind the camera, it's hardly a job to wheelbarrow it from there to here, and that's what it's all about. So into the herb patch, I'm smiling because I'm not sure whether you can see me, but my cat Midnight is going mental in the Valerian patch. As it's coming back and reawakening from spring, it's got a strong smell coming up out of the ground, and Midnight absolutely loves the Valerian. So luckily there's plenty there, so he'll never kill them all. But here, new plan in the herb garden. So there's not quite enough wood chip for everywhere. So what I've done this year, I've concentrated on two main sections, because in this part, the creeping buttercup are the bane of my life. So what we've done, we've just put some wood chip down, but we put some cardboard down. But this year we've put a good couple of inches of wood chip to hopefully batter them back. Now I've only got a bit of wood chip left, so the plan is for the small amount that's left, just to put some cardboard around the border of the main plants, like the Valerian that Midnight's so fond of, and the wormwood behind me and a few other plants, and then just put a ring of wood chip just to help fight that creeping buttercup back and to make my life slightly easier in the height of summer. Well, finally the stakes are in. This has been on my list for it feels like years, but it can't be that years because the trees aren't that old. But I've been wanting to put good stakes in, because I just put them in with some bamboo canes. So we've knocked some great stakes in, but because I didn't do it when I first planted it, when I should have, because the list was too long, what's happened now is I've had to put them further away from the trees, because otherwise when I was banging it in, I would have been banging on the roots. But that's totally fine. I've just had to use double ties. And I tell you what, these Welsh trees that I got, the old Welsh varieties, are doing so much better than the more modern cultivars. They're really clinging on. They're not finding the deep clay soil, the harsh southwesterly winds here. They just go in with it. They're proper Welsh and tough. And what the plan is to hopefully grow some vines up here that can then, when they're big enough, connect to the trees. So I feel really pleased that we've got these in. The trees are looking so much happier. I've just got a few more to put in for the rest of the orchard, because this area here is all trees. So apples, pears, plums, walnuts, chestnuts. And the majority of them need these in. So I've got a few more to crack on with, but it's mainly done. Big tick off the list there. So the broad beans are in the polytunnel, and the broad beans are in outside. It feels like spring. To me, broad beans make me smile because they always are the first fresh vegetable of the year, aren't they? And whilst there's other vegetables, a lot of them have been planted last year. And yes, you'll get salads and things like that, but to me, the broad beans tell me it's happening. And if I had to come back as a vegetable, I would choose a broad bean. And the reason that is you get to hang out with all your mates in an amazing pod that's all cutched in with nice warm blankets and quilts. If you look at that pod, it's amazing. So let me ask you, what veg would you come back as? So hopefully that's inspired you to crack on in the garden, to get on with the jobs that need doing. I've told you what I've been up to. Let me know in the comments what you've been up to. And if you've enjoyed this video, please subscribe, as it really helps push the YouTube channel out there and beat those pesky algorithms and spread the knowledge to help people growing, creating, foraging and making their own medicine and making their own food. You can also head on over to my website, selinawalker.earth, and sign up to my free newsletter. Diolch am gwylio, thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.